But we will start today with the news of Paul Pogba undergoing his medical at Juventus, completing it as well, passing by the way. Fans were out in force to welcome him back, and we are very happy to welcome back to the show Nicky Bandini to find out what the reaction has been on the return of Paul Pogba to Juventus. Nicky, welcome back into the show. Tell us more about how it's all been received in Italy.
Oh, it's Pog back, Kay. It's not Pogba, it's Pog back. They're super excited in Turin about it. Crowds of fans waiting for him at the J Medical Centre where Juventus did that medical, and he seems as happy to be back as they are to see him. Actually, it was really sort of a sweet moment when his Jeep first arrived and pulled up through the gates, and Pogba hopped out and immediately sort of went straight back out to say hello to people because he wanted to. He wanted to have that moment with the fans, and I think it's a sort of very warm nostalgia that's being felt on both sides at the moment. Whether or not that will collide with reality, we will see. I think it was only last summer that I was being asked, how do people in Italy feel about Jose Mourinho coming back to Italy? And I said, well, I think the truth is that a lot of Italians' memory of Mourinho is still the Mourinho that won the treble at Inter, rather than the Mourinho who's been having a more disappointing time in England at Tottenham, for instance. And I think it's the same with Pogba. All these Juventus fans, of course, they know what's happened at Manchester United. They know he hasn't had as successful a time as people envisaged for him there. But still, the memory that they've held on to is Paul Pogba, who won a domestic treble with them, who won the league under Antonio Conte and then under Max Allegri, a midfielder who was blossoming into something really special at that time. And I think that no one's really updated that mental image just yet. So that's the player they're hoping for.
Well, he was successful at the club first time around. They say, though, Stevie, you should never go back. Is it a good move for him to return?
I think so. Because...
A bit hesitant.
Well, because initially I'm thinking he's going to go to Juventus under the same sort of pressure that he had when he went to United, because he's expected to deliver. And he failed at United. He didn't deliver. And initially I'm thinking that same expectation is going to be at Juventus, and is he capable of doing it? And he hasn't done anything in his, what, 5 years, whatever it is, at United, to suggest that he will be able to produce under the pressure of being the main man. However, I've got to say that, you know, Serie A is a step or a pace behind the Premier League. And so anybody with his sort of ability, when they have more time and more space, it kind of seems, how is he not going to produce? Because the one thing you can say about him is he can score goals, he has vision, his passing's tremendous. And these are all things that he did when he was in Serie A. So I think it's a good move, yes, because of what Serie A is. A step, as far as pace is concerned, behind the Premier League. And so he should produce.
Do you agree with Stevie, LA?
Well, I think I'm far more optimistic about it than Stevie when it comes to Paul Pogba. In that...
Oh, I did say he would produce.
Eventually,
I wasn't exactly gushing.
No. You got there.
I wasn't salivating about it. But
you got there in the end.
I did, aye. Oh, you're right.
I think Paul Pogba is a player that has proven that he needs positive vibes around him in order for him to be successful. He needs to be liked. He needs to be appreciated. And when was he appreciated the most? Well, his time in Juventus, where he was at his best. That's his performances with Juventus initially is what warranted that big move to Manchester United. And never quite settle in Manchester United. Never quite settle individually, and never quite settle as a group around him. Things around him were not settled, were not happy. Then he wasn't happy either. To me, Paul Pogba is a player that depends on that. I need to be enjoying myself. This needs to be fun. This needs to be exciting. And it cannot be a grind. It cannot be a drag, because I'm not the sort of guy and the sort of player that really thrives in that sort of condition. I don't need the confrontation. I don't need the stress. I need joy and happiness so that I can express myself. Well, he's going back to a place in which he was joyful and happy. But he's going to find a different Juventus than the one he left. So there's going to be more responsibility on Paul Pogba to be even better than what he was back then. That's where I have a question. Can he produce that sort of level? I don't think that 5 years down the road, or however long it's been, I don't think he can regain that level. However, I do think that he can, and I will get there eventually, he can be productive for Juventus, and he will be, I think, an important player for this team going forward.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.